One of my friends likes very much amusement parks and rides. I think I should recommend this game to him, even though it's in a horror environment. Or setting. The environment's probably not so horrible under other circumstances.
Near a great forest, there lived a poor woodcutter, his wife and his 2 children. A boy named Hansel and a girl named Gretel. They were very poor and had very little to bite or sup. "What will become of us?" the woodcutter asked his wife one night. "I tell you what, husband, we will take the children into the thickest part of the forest tomorrow and abandon them there." "No, my wife, I cannot do that," said the man. "Then we will all 4 starve, you fool." Hansel and Gretel overheard their parents talking, and Gretel began to weep. "Do not fret, Gretel," Hansel said. He crept out of the hut and gathered white stones from the ground to fill his pockets.
So
The next morning, the woodcutter leads the children into the forest. Before they leave, their mother gives them a slice of bread and warns them that they will get no more food that day. Clever Hansel leaves a trail of white stones behind them as they pass into the woods. When their father leaves them, the children wait a while, then follow the trail back to their parents' house.
so bloody dark in here.
After receiving a thorough scolding from their parents for getting lost in the woods, the children are sent to bed without any supper. Hansel tried to sneak out and collect more white stones, but found that the door was locked. "Tomorrow I will take them into the woods myself," the wife told the woodcutter. In the morning, their mother gave them a slice of bread and led them deep into the forest once again. Hansel broke his bread into pieces and left a trail of breadcrumbs to lead them safely home. But hungry-eyed birds snatched up the breadcrumbs and his trail was destroyed. Abandoned by their parents and unable to find the trail home, the children wandered in the forest for 3 days. The children stumbled into a clearing with an exceedingly strange house. Its walls were made of gingerbread, and its windows were panes of clear sugar. Hansel, desperately hungry, ran forward and began to nibble on the walls. "Nibble, nibble, little mouse. Who is nibbling at my house?" An old woman emerged from the house, sniffing the air and peering around with cloudy eyes. "Oh, you dear children, who brought you here? Just come in and stay with me. No harm will come to you." But Hansel and Gretel stayed back, for the old woman reminded them of their cruel mother. "Come, children, don't be afraid. I have something for you." The old woman offered them 2 enormous lollipops. The children took them and began to eat. "You see, nothing to fear here. Come inside," the old woman urged, and the children, still licking their sweets, followed. Once inside the house, the old woman changed. She stuffed Hansel into a cage and put Gretel to work, sweeping and cleaning her hut. "Your brother will make a good mouthful," the old witch told Gretel. Once he is fattened up, I shall feast upon him. Time passed, and poor Hansel refused to eat, fearing the day that the witch would eat him. The witch, for her part, grew impatient. Today I will cook and eat your brother, Gretel. Climb inside and light the oven. But Gretel pretended not to understand. I do not know how. Where is the opening? Fool, the old witch said. The opening is here. And she moved to show Gretel. Seizing her courage, brave Gretel gave the witch a shove, and the old crone tumbled forward into the oven. Gretel slid a large iron bolt over the door to the oven. Gretel freed her brother Hansel, and together they lit a fire beneath the oven. And though she screamed and begged, the children sat by the oven until her screams had stilled, and the witch was cooked. And then, because even children can't survive on sweets, they divided up the body of the old witch and ate her.
Well, that's a twist to it. Swan! Don't do this to me. Oh, I'm back now, am I? Okay. Well, that's usually how a ride goes, of course. I shouldn't be surprised. Where did the other swan go? So... we are getting some hints here about
Hansel and Gretel. I used to read it to Callum when the electricity was shut off. Those poor children. The whole world against them. The forest, the birds, the old witch, even their own parents. I used to imagine that Callum and I were the kids in that story. Not mother and son, but brother and sister, hand in hand against the unkind world. We were always hungry, looking for our own house made of candy, looking for the sweetness that could take the pain away. Hunger leads people to desperate, terrible places where the tree branches reach like claws.
yeah, it seems to like hint a lot at, you know, bad parenting and but I don't know. I don't know what the story is about until the end, do I? This could be a symbolic search for a child.
Another accident. This place.
The teddy. Despite the oh, thank God it ended. Despite the constant interruptions to work, Atlantic Island Park will be opening in time. The governor is booked to cut the ribbons, so the only real question is whether we will have any customers. I'm not truly worried. The customers will come out of simple curiosity. I deducted that what was needed from the banned writings of Archie Henderson. It's astonishing to think that a resonance of positive emotion can be used to fuel such a process. Henderson himself chose to use negative, and that caused some of the taint that still lingers in this place. I will not make his mistakes. Very soon I will know if it has all been for nothing. I want to pick up the teddy. There's nothing on this side, was there? Teddy! What, I can't reach into the car to grab the teddy? For real? Okay then. You leave me no choice. I thought it was him I was looking for, as well as my son. Alright, I have to shut off running, otherwise I keep auto running, so to speak. Oh man! I loved... It's very long walks between the rides though, that's not very usual in real life rides, but oh! I loved this type of ride when I was a kid. Because I loved sea creatures generally, and I wanted to be a mermaid. Oh, that's so epic looking. It's a really nice looking game. I like it.
This old thing used to make the blood run to my head. Make me dizzy.
Report.
The guy just snapped. Those poor kids.
Witness name. We were waiting for our turn on the ride. Frank, me and the boys. Oh, the ride. Frank, me and the boys, I mean. This fellow in the chipmunk suit is making an ice carving while people took photographs. Lawrence wanted to go over to him, but I've always been a bit wary of those suits. They give me the creeps. Silly, I know. Not really, it's perfectly understandable. Anyway, the chipmunk man, he was carving and picking away at the ice. And at first we thought he was making some animal, like a tiger or lion. But as more and more ice fell away, when you first looked, it was like a human face smiling out of that block of ice. But the more you looked at it, the more you saw that there was something not quite right about the proportions. Something unnatural that made your heart begin to beat just a little bit faster. Like you were prey and that thing in the ice was a hunter. But then these teenagers walked up and one of them made a face at the carving and said something rude to the guy in the chipmunk suit, and then... well, he went berserk. For a few moments it was chaos. Everybody was running away from the guy who had one of teenagers on the ground, and he was stabbing with the ice pick, and blood was spraying and people were screaming, and Frank and I had the kids and we were dragging them away as fast as we could. And the last thing I saw before Frank dragged me away was that the eyeball of one of those poor kids had landed on the ice sculpture, making the horrible creature look more or less alive. Ooh, so the chipmunk guy went nuts. That doesn't sound very good. Let's go around this thing. Ah, okay, we can go. Can I ride it? I know this is supposed to be horror and everything, I should take it seriously, but... let's see if we can find something more. Oh no, it was closed off here, was it? Why is it running? Oh, what's that? We can ride it!
I can't get on while it's moving.
It's like, I'm not gonna look for my kid. How am I gonna get it moving again? Once I'm on, then.